testing of the product by the certification body. Audit testing and samples taken by the certification body, that's the ongoing. And surveillance, assessment, and approval of factory production by the certification body, in brackets, routine inspections. And they need to follow ISO Guide 40, ISO 14001, 14004, and ISO IAC 17025.
So which one you will recommend?
Well, 4 is the best. As a consumer, I would like to see 4. 3 is factory production control, regular testing of the factory samples by the manufacturer. I don't think that's any issue. Initial inspection of the plant and the production, factory production by certification body.
Lavan, in any way you can put it on the screen. You have it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you have a projector? No.
No, I need a.
Is it beginning?
I need to move in. Okay.
Okay, so this is the system 1. So no involvement in anybody else other than the manufacturer. He has to have some sort of production control, which he self-declares, and he has to do testing, has to agree to testing. System 2.
Third parties.
So the way I describe this one is the manufacturer does all the work, but they have somebody that just watches over them. And 4 adds in initial type testing. So I personally don't recommend going below 3, because below 3 you just have somebody coming in and watching. At least you have initial type testing done by an independent party. And then 4 is basically product certification. So there's somebody that not only does the initial type testing, but watches over you and checks you on an ongoing basis. Obviously, that's the most expensive one too. And you need a quality manual. These are types of the things. So control of raw material, control of test equipment, for example, thermal resistance or thermal conductivity. You got to do one for production control. You got to do once a week. For internal reference sample, independent body, you got to do it once a year. I won't go through every one in detail. I'll just give you an idea. I will post this in the working group. Now this is done for thermal insulation products, so you're not going to use mass per unit area block or board. So what people do is reference 12576-1 with the following exceptions, and we put that right into the standard. Here's thermal conductivity. Got to do that once per week, and this is on each production line. Water vapor permeability and so on and so forth. So you take that and you say what applies, what doesn't apply, what you want to change, and you add that as a normative annex to your material specification. Indirect testing, manufacturer's logs, persons responsible, certification. Now you're getting into more details of what it listed, what routine inspections are, certification, the production control, the product certification, the type testing, audit testing. Minimum frequency of audit testing for dimensions once a year, 2 different thicknesses. Thermal transmission properties 4 times a year. Fire behavior, it's up to you.
Inspection requirements.
Conformity marketing and so on. The rest is, gets into sampling. Sample size. So you will have to do, some sort of appendix in your standard to say what parts of this you use, what parts you don't.
Okay, so which one we decide to go? Lavan is for 4.
Well,
and
I would even go for 3.
3. So can you go up to 2? He is for 1, you are for 4.
So it's 3,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
or 2.5, I should say.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
1 or 2, huh? There is no 2.5. So now the negotiation between 2 and 3. Should we toss it?
Let me pull that up again. Here's a summary of the 5. So system 1, the manufacturer's completely on their own. System 2, you do all the work, but somebody takes a look at your factory production control. System 3 is you do something in production control, what you do initial type testing by third party. System 4 is the whole enchilada.
If we choose the system 3 and the load of testing center is increasing,
Yeah, what that means, initial type testing means that when you need at least 1 test by a third party for the life of the product.
yeah, and in this working draft, there are a lot of thermal conductivity measurements included. So the central panel is a 10 sample, and the aging is very a lot of sample, and Eugene effect is also measured. So testing centers load is very huge, and yeah. So
If all the company take the system 3, there will be maybe a lasting time for sampling. That means you should considering how many the center could accept additional term for this test or something. Maybe it will cause some inconvenience in commercial things because it take time.
It takes time, but you got, at least in North America, we have tens, if not hundreds, of laboratories that can do the testing. And I would be surprised, we don't have a lot of manufacturers. I mean, do we have any, I don't think we have any in
Canada,
Canada.
US, I think.
US might have two,
And-
so two manufacturers, they can go to 30 different testing laboratories, it's not an issue. To me, the difference between the two, because you're gonna do, as a manufacturer, you're gonna do all your own testing. Everything that we talk about here, you're gonna do yourself. So the only thing that happens is if you go to a system, either System 3 or System 4, is now you have a independent third party accredited to ISO 17025 that basically confirms what you say. So as a manufacturer, if I control everything, I can tell you anything. And it's up to you to prove me wrong. If you have a third party that steps in, now all of a sudden, okay, what you're telling me, I can accept because somebody independent has
Awesome.
agreed to it.
So that is just a problem of cost and responsibility.
Yeah, so can you sell more product if you have a validated number versus the cost of testing? And is the selling more product I mean, if the cost of testing is $50,000 and you're gonna sell $50,000 worth of product, it's useless.
Yeah. So to guarantee the manufacturer, okay, the systems 3 and 4 is better.
Well, there's, at least in North America, there's manufacturers that will give you a letter stating anything you want. And there's no technical basis, because it comes from the sales department. So the sales department will say, my material will work for 100 years. Buy my
Okay.
materials, 100 years. They'll sign off. And they're hoping that you will never challenge them on it.
Yeah. That's true,
And,
sure.
and so on. So when when a manufacturer tells me that they get X on this value, to me it means nothing. Unless I really know the manufacturer well and I understand, I've been to their place, I've seen their place, I understand their quality control, then I let it get a level of comfort. But in the organizations that we monitor or we work for, we want independent third-party testing, no question.
For sure.
And this is draft, so it doesn't mean, whatever we sort of point out is a possible direction going today, it doesn't necessarily mean it stays here. And no offense to manufacturers, but when I hear them complain about the cost of testing, and even if it's $50,000, I ask them how much product that they plan on selling for the life of the product, and it's typically in the hundreds of millions. So to me, it's, if you're worried about 0.0001%, I mean, you always got to be concerned about cost, no. But to me, the extra credibility that a manufacturer gets because somebody else has confirmed that what they're saying is truthful far outweighs a loss of sales. People don't trust you because you don't know you.
Okay, so which one you are going at the bottom? Tossing between 2 and 3. Since 2 favors the manufacturer, they have less expenses, but they still have to be certified by a third party.
No. Well, just their production control.
Control.
So somebody comes in and looks at your manual and so on and so forth. So what that says is that you have the documentation and processes in place to have production control. Does not comment on whether your production control is good, better, or different.
Which one you would like to have?
System 2 or 3 and the
Let's do with 3. You can always
Yeah.
put a negative
um,
when it comes.
I'm wondering, the third party can do all the tests in this equipment.
I don't think they have to do all that. They have to see the manufacturing facility.
In 3, they have to do the initial type test.
All the tests.
So they would have to do all the tests once.
Yeah.
All thermoconductivity, pressure, everything they have to do once.
Yeah.
But if they don't have anything, they have to give it to the accreditation lab.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So then stop.
But look, is it not the test which you are doing? You have to do some round robin test, or somehow you have to prove that your results are good.
yeah.
Okay, so this one time you do it, you basically get an approval that your results are good. So comparing with other people manufacturers, if Panasonic cannot afford it, there are so many other manufacturers. They actually, it is making favorable to you that many small manufacturers here, they cannot satisfy the standard because they didn't go through this process, isn't it? So many people, vacuum insulation panel manufacturing is not that a rocket science, people can make it. So if it becomes popular, anybody will make it, but they cannot get that ISO certificate with paying a huge, for them to make him paying $20,000 is a lot of money. So it will, basically you are paying some money, but it will making a favorable business condition for you. It will put the, for Panasonic, there you are doing research for so many years, you are producing the one of the best quality of it, so you would like to have the standard to be high, starting from the manufacturing. So let's go for the 3.
Okay.
You can have your internal discussion in your company, then you have a chance to, there will be still 2 rounds of ballot coming, so you can always. So we go for option 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Lavan, so what I'll do, I'll make a list of the standard I need before I finalize this document, and I will email it to you. If you can show me to me,
Yeah.
then I can request it. I'll put all of them together, that will be easy.
Okay, so I need to know, as chair of SC3, what is the working group plans for the next, basically, year? So as of yesterday, or even maybe today, this standard has been circulated in the form that you saw and on Tuesday morning for a CD vote. Okay, it's a 2-month vote, so this is
It will be posted in May.
April, it'll be June. June, 2 months from now, because we're in April, May, June. June the 11th, that should close. So the questions I have is, you're gonna have comments coming in. Is the working group planning and having another meeting before, well, first of all, are you planning a meeting in September with TC 163? Okay. Are you planning a meeting before that?
See, based on this working group meeting, now I will revise the document.
I'll
Okay?
just, yeah, we'll get to that, but just, as of today, do you believe that you would have another meeting?
Rob, if you have, it will probably have a, through not going in person, it will be probably through teleconference or video conference or Skype, something.
Okay.
Okay.
So if that's the case, the expectation is you wouldn't have a meeting unless something comes up that changes it. So you want, basically, you would, here's what I'm getting to. We did a lot of work here, tremendous amount of work, in my opinion. I think everybody that was here contributed a tremendous amount to improving the document. The document that is theoretically on the computer today is not the document we started with on Tuesday.
No.
The issue I have is that we have, the document being circulated to everybody, they're gonna have comments. And Tony wanted us to turn all these things into comments to report them. I think that's a complete waste of time, because what we're doing is we've changed the document. You'd have to turn that into a comment, send it in under Canada, for argument's sake, and then we have to take that comment, turn it back into the document. So here's what I propose. I propose that you and whoever you need to work with, myself or anybody else here, we go through and we edit the document to make sure all the things that we discussed the last 2 days are in the document and we're happy with it. And we could even circulate that, and I would say that's independent of the standard being out there. So if we could do that, let's say in a month or 2 months' time even, to get all this information in and get what we would call a final draft from this meeting ready, and circulate it to at least these people. What I would suggest is once we get the document in that shape, we actually post it in the working group folder. And so everybody can see that, okay? And the only risk is, well, I actually don't see this document being finalized for a couple of months, so what would happen is that then people can see the work that's already been done. Then what the work, if you're not meeting before the September meeting, then the work at the September meeting would be to take the document as we developed it here. We would look through every comment that comes out, and I'm not picking numbers there, but let's assume 80% of the comments we already covered. So we would need to look and confirm that, because we've got to respond to every comment. And then we look at the comments that come in that we think are good that we forgot, we didn't even think about here. And then we can put those through. I would suggest you're gonna probably need a whole day meeting in September, at least. And at that point, I would expect the document would be in relatively good shape.
Good shape to go for final balloting.
Well, go to DIS first.
DIS.
You can skip, if we have 100% approval on the CD, I wouldn't approve the CD as it went out. So it will need, in my opinion, it will need to go to DIS and then FTIS. But we should have a document that we're ready to ballot by September for DIS balloting.
Okay, so basically what it means, we'll get a lot of comments, and we're hoping from Europeans will make some fundamental comments, this is all these things. So we'll take all of these things, we have revised it, and we'll go through email and phone for until September, and we'll have a document, probably in August end or something, we'll put that document in the
Working group folders.
And invite everyone to look into it, and for the meeting in September. In September, we will discuss it for the whole day in ISO to finally go through each, that will be editing, technical, everything taken to make a final document to go for FDIS. And we don't expect at that stage that we will get a major changes to be made before it goes for the DIS. That makes sense?
Okay.
Okay. Lavan, Tony was telling to go for DIS before September. I think that will be a little tight, isn't it?
It's going to depend on the comments you get back.
But we, irrespective of the comments, we have got a significant amount of work to do,
Yes.
editing and polishing and looking at everything. That getter and desiccant, we have to make sure that we address it properly. Because I don't want to go to the next ballot, because this one we know that we went just to get the people's ball rolling,
Yeah.
Next time when we go, we should have a sound background, and we should be completely thorough about each clause of the things what we are writing and what we are working on.
Yeah, the reason why Tony's pushing you for that is the fact that for a whole bunch of reasons, we're behind the 8 ball for timing.
Okay, but in timing we are behind, I know that, but is there no way to extend it, or we have to start it all over?
Well, actually, we can check that. There's a couple of things I wanted to show everybody. So ISOs went 100% to web-based, okay? So even things like this working group meeting, as of April the 1st, you gotta do it different. There's a whole new system set up that you can, and you need to do this. You can say, I'm looking, the next working group meeting is gonna be in September, and you don't have to have it nailed down, but then everybody's informed. And that's why I'm saying, if you were planning a meeting before, we should tell people, because if they don't expect it, and then we call it a working group meeting, they're gonna be surprised. For you, Falguni, the version that Tony worked with you on, you put it in general committee documents. You actually should put in projects.
Okay.
Okay, and at this point, you only have one project, And I put a folder in there for you, or you put a folder, I'm not sure what, but anyway. Sorry, actually, that is, yeah, so that's a folder. And then this is a document I posted for you, which was the rough conversion from Zen to AS. So then, this is where, whenever we have this ready, we need to post it in the project side. The other part is your meeting and resolutions. So you're gonna see the agendas in there, you'll see the minutes from this meeting. Typically, for a working group meeting, the minutes simply say that we got together, here's the countries, the member bodies that were present, and we reviewed the complete document, and we've made modifications to it, and it's going to result in the next version. And we will consider the comments that come in and vote. It's going to be very, very basic.
Basic.
Okay.
And put the attendance sheet in a scanned copy of that there.
Yeah. So the next thing you should see in this part is a notice of meeting and draft agenda. And actually, this is now automatically generated by what's out there. If you're looking for documents and you're not sure where to find them, just simply go to the end document list. Now, keep in mind, documents for working group 11 is different than documents from SC3, which is different than documents from 163.
Okay.
So you gotta make sure in the right area. So right now, in Falguni's section, there's a total of 4 documents. This number hasn't been used, but if you ever wanna know what it is, every document will always be here. Even if you're looking for a document a year ago, 2 years ago, it'll be in here. You gotta do, this is more for Falguni, anytime you post a document, you gotta, in addition, you gotta notify people. If you don't notify people, it'll sit there. And Falguni's doing good because there's no documents in there.
I going through that, there is a video recording which
Yeah.
shows you. So every time you post something, you have to notify it, otherwise it stays there.
Yeah, so typically, what you're gonna do is look for documents and projects.
Project.
And
So
right
I-
now, we only have one project.
Okay.
And then the next thing is meetings and resolutions, and you'll see meetings, agendas, and meeting minutes. General committee documents are basically, we could put the standards that we're talking about, 12576-1, if we're gonna circulate that, then we could drop that into there. But it's more related to a project.
Okay.
Public information means anybody, I had to sign in to see this. If public information, you're gonna not see anything except for what's in public information. And at this point, there's 0 items in there. I think that's it. So actually, you see, you got your meeting already proposed.
But Tony has done that.
Yeah.
And what is the deadline of this one?
Okay, let's go to that.
I think targeting it to September, everything to finish it will be really taxing for all of us. Not impossible, but it's very taxing. Then I have to drop many other things just to work on this.
Okay, so in here, we go to committee projects. And only your member body can set you up in here. I can't, Falguni can't. You gotta talk to your member body and get permission. They list you in what is called a global directory, and they will tell you what areas you can go to and tell you what level that you can get into. So I can get into a level higher than Falguni, and the TC 163 chairman can get into a level higher than I am. They don't have your document posted in here now. Why? Oh, wait a minute, hang on.